Little Emma didn't say a word for a whole minute. She just stared at the orange ball of fur by the trash can. The ball of fur was moving strangely. One paw was not like the others. "Mommy, look!" 5-year-old Emma whispered. Her big brown eyes filled with tears. Not from sadness. From something else. From that feeling when your heart says, "Help." Emma lived with her mom in a cozy little house in Orlando. Every morning she would go out to the yard. Her friends were always waiting there. Stray cats from the neighboring streets. Mom allowed her to leave milk and cookies. "Just watch from far away," she would say. But Emma could never just watch. Today was a special day. The day when everything changed. Emma was carrying a small dish of milk. She was humming her favorite song. Suddenly she heard a quiet meowing. Not like usual. This was crying. Behind the big garbage bin sat a kitten. Orange, with white spots on its chest. It was trying to reach a dish of water. But something was wrong. The kitten had only one back paw. Emma froze. Her heart beat faster. She had never seen anything like this before. The kitten moved strangely. It hopped on 3 paws. Poor little thing, the girl thought. Emma carefully came closer. The kitten stopped. It looked at her with big green eyes. There was no fear in them. Only tiredness. "Hello, little one," Emma whispered. She placed the milk right in front of the kitten. It carefully sniffed. Then began to lap. Quickly, as if afraid someone would take it away. Emma sat down on the grass nearby. Mom always said not to touch stray animals. But this was different. This kitten needed her. "What's your name?" the girl asked. The kitten lifted its head. Drops of milk remained on its little face. It meowed. So quietly and sweetly. "I think you're Ginger," Emma decided. Suddenly Mom came out of the house. She saw Emma near the kitten. She got scared. "Emma, get away from there!" she shouted. "But Mommy, look!" The girl pointed to the paw. "He needs help." Mom came closer. She saw the kitten. Her eyes became softer. But she was still worried. "Maybe it's sick," Mom said. "Maybe it's just different," Emma replied. She stretched out her hand. The kitten sniffed. Then touched her fingers with its nose. It was so warm and soft. "Mommy, can I take care of him?" Mom shook her head. She understood her daughter's heart, but worried about her safety. "First, we need to show it to a veterinarian." Emma was happy. This meant, yes, Mom would let her help. Together they picked up the kitten. It didn't resist. As if it understood it was being rescued. Emma stroked its soft fur. "Everything will be okay, Ginger," she whispered. On the way to the vet clinic, Emma was thinking, why do other kittens have 4 paws? And Ginger only 3? Maybe he was born special. Special. She liked that word. At the vet clinic, the doctor examined Ginger. He said the kitten was healthy. Just born without 1 paw. This happens sometimes. "Can he live normally?" Emma asked. "Of course." The doctor smiled. "Animals are very adaptable." Emma was happy. Now she knew for sure. Ginger would live with them. On the way home, they stopped at a pet store. They bought soft mats, toys, and special food. Emma chose everything most beautiful. "You'll like it at our place," she told the kitten. When they came home, the neighbors were already waiting. News travels fast in small neighborhoods. Everyone wanted to see the special kitten. Mrs. Johnson from the neighboring house shook her head. "Why do you need a crippled kitten?" she said. Emma didn't understand the word. Crippled. But the tone was unpleasant. She pressed Ginger closer to herself. "He's not crippled," the girl said. "He's special." Tommy from the street was laughing. He showed how the kitten limps. Emma cried. Not from hurt. From anger. Stop it! She shouted. Mom took Emma's hand. They went into the house. Ginger hid under the sofa. He was scared. Don't listen to them, Mom said. Sometimes people don't understand. Emma nodded. She already knew what she would do. Show everyone how wonderful Ginger is. Prove that being different doesn't mean being worse. That evening Ginger slept by Emma's bed. He purred quietly. The girl looked at the stars outside the window. Tomorrow we begin, Ginger, she whispered. The kitten opened one eye. As if he understood. As if he was getting ready for something important. The wind rustled outside the window. But it was warm in the room. Warm from new friendship. A friendship that would change everything. The next morning, Emma woke up before her alarm. Ginger was still sleeping on his soft mat. His 3 paws twitched slightly. He was probably dreaming of running. Emma had a plan. A secret plan. She tiptoed to her art supplies. Took out colorful paper and markers. If the other kids thought Ginger was different, she would show them different could be amazing. Good morning, Ginger, she whispered. The kitten opened his green eyes. Stretched and yawned. When he tried to stand up, he wobbled slightly. But he didn't give up. Emma watched carefully. Ginger hopped to his food bowl. He had his own special way of moving. Quick little jumps with his front paws. Then a push with his one back paw. You're like a tiny kangaroo. Emma giggled. After breakfast, they went outside. Emma carried a small cardboard box. Inside were her training supplies, soft toys, string, and treats. The neighborhood cats were sunbathing on the fence. When they saw Ginger, some ran away. Others just stared. Ginger didn't seem to care. Okay, Ginger, lesson 1, Emma announced. She placed the toy mouse 3 feet away. Most kittens would pounce directly. Ginger looked at the mouse. Then at Emma. Then back at the mouse. He took 2 small hops forward. Wobbled. Steadied himself. Took 1 more hop. His paw touched the mouse. Yes! Emma cheered. You did it! Ginger purred loudly. He seemed proud of himself. Mrs. Rodriguez from across the street was watching. She smiled and waved. Not everyone was mean like Mrs. Johnson. What are you teaching him? She asked, walking over. He's learning to be the best 3-legged cat ever, Emma said proudly. Mrs. Rodriguez knelt down. Ginger didn't hide. He actually rubbed against her hand. He's very brave, she said softly. Emma beamed. Finally, someone understood. Just then, Tommy and his friend Jake appeared. They had been riding bikes around the block. When they saw the group around Ginger, they stopped. Oh look, it's the broken cat, Tommy laughed. Emma felt her cheeks turn red. But this time she was ready. Watch this, she said firmly. She took out a long piece of string. Tied a feather to the end. Started moving it in circles above Ginger's head. Most cats would jump straight up. Ginger watched carefully. Then he did something incredible. He used his front paws to push himself up. Higher than Emma expected. He caught the feather on his first try. Tommy stopped laughing. Jake's mouth fell open. How did he do that? Jake asked. He's stronger because he uses his other paws more, Emma explained. He's like a superhero cat. She wasn't sure if that was scientifically true. But it sounded good. And Ginger certainly acted like he had superpowers. Over the next hour, Emma showed them more tricks. Ginger could balance on 2 paws. He could climb up a small ramp Emma had built. He could even do a little spin. That's actually pretty cool, Tommy admitted reluctantly. Emma smiled. Her plan was working. But then something unexpected happened. A big orange tabby cat jumped down from the fence. This was Morris, the neighborhood bully cat. He was twice Ginger's size. Morris walked slowly toward Ginger. His tail was puffed up. Emma recognized the signs. Morris wanted to fight. "Ginger, come here," Emma called nervously. But Ginger didn't move. He stood his ground. His green eyes never left Morris. Morris circled around Ginger, making threatening sounds. The other children stepped back. Even Tommy looked worried. "Should we call your mom?" Jake whispered. Emma shook her head. Something told her to wait. Morris suddenly pounced. But Ginger was ready. He hopped to the side with amazing speed. Morris landed where Ginger had been standing. The big cat spun around, confused. Ginger had moved faster than Morris expected. Morris tried again. This time Ginger hopped backward, then to the left. His three-legged movement was unpredictable. Morris couldn't catch him. After 5 minutes, Morris gave up. He sat down, panting. Ginger sat down too. Neither cat had been hurt. Then something magical happened. Morris reached out his paw. Not to hit, but to touch. Ginger touched back. The two cats began grooming each other. "Wow," breathed Tommy. "I've never seen Morris be nice to anyone." Emma felt tears of joy in her eyes. Ginger hadn't just defended himself. He had made a friend. That afternoon, word spread around the neighborhood. The little three-legged kitten who could outmaneuver the biggest cat on the block. Children started coming by to see Ginger's tricks. Emma set up a small performance area in her backyard. She created obstacles courses for Ginger. He loved showing off his special abilities. Sarah from 2 houses down brought her shy daughter Lucy. Lucy had a leg brace and walked with crutches. She rarely played with other children. "Can I pet him?" Lucy asked quietly. "Of course," Emma said. "He loves making new friends." Lucy sat on the grass. Ginger immediately hopped over. He rubbed against her leg brace. Lucy giggled for the first time in weeks. "He doesn't care that I'm different," Lucy whispered. "Neither do I," Emma said simply. By evening, Emma's yard was full of children and their parents. Everyone wanted to meet the special kitten. Ginger seemed to love the attention. Emma's mom watched from the kitchen window. Her daughter had turned a potential problem into something beautiful. She felt very proud. As the sun set, the crowd slowly went home. Emma and Ginger sat together on the porch steps. Both were tired but happy. "Tomorrow we'll practice jumping higher," Emma told him. Ginger meowed softly. He curled up next to her. Emma looked at the stars appearing in the sky. She thought about Lucy's words. About Morris accepting Ginger. About Tommy admitting the tricks were cool. Maybe being different wasn't something to hide. Maybe it was something to celebrate. "You're teaching everyone, aren't you?" she whispered to Ginger. The kitten purred his answer. In the distance, Morris meowed from his fence. It sounded almost like, "Good night." Emma smiled. Tomorrow would bring new adventures. New chances to show the world that different could be wonderful. The porch light flickered on. Mom's signal that it was time to come inside. Emma picked up Ginger carefully. His warm purring filled her ears. "Sweet dreams, my special friend," she whispered. As they went inside, either noticed a small crowd of neighborhood cats gathering by the fence. They had all come to see the famous three-legged kitten. Word was spreading far beyond their small street. Something big was about to happen. 3 days later, Emma woke up to unusual sounds. Shouting. Cars. People running. She looked out her window. The entire neighborhood was in chaos. Mrs. Rodriguez was crying on her porch. Mr. Chin was talking rapidly on his phone. "Mom, what's happening?" Emma called out. Her mother rushed into the room, already dressed. Her face was worried. "Little Miguel is missing," she said quickly. "Mrs. Rodriguez's 3-year-old grandson. He was playing in the backyard and just disappeared. Emma's heart sank. She knew Miguel, the tiny boy with dark curls who always waved at her. He was barely bigger than a baby. Where could he go? Emma asked. They don't know. The police are coming. Everyone is searching. Emma looked at Ginger. The kitten was sitting by the window, watching the commotion below. His ears were alert. His nose twitched. Can we help search too? Emma asked. Mom hesitated, then nodded. But you stay close to me. Always. They went outside. The scene was overwhelming. Neighbors with flashlights. Police officers asking questions. Search dogs sniffing around. Emma held Ginger close. She noticed something strange. All the other cats had disappeared. But Ginger kept looking toward the old woods behind the houses. Mom, Ginger keeps looking that way. Emma pointed. Cats have good instincts. Her mother agreed. But the police already checked there. Emma wasn't convinced. She knew Ginger was special. Maybe he could sense something others couldn't. As the hours passed, the search grew more desperate. Miguel had been missing for 4 hours. It would be dark soon. Mrs. Rodriguez was sobbing. He's so little. He gets scared in the dark. Emma felt tears in her own eyes. She hugged Ginger tighter. I wish we could help, she whispered to him. Suddenly, Ginger jumped from her arms. He landed awkwardly but immediately started hopping toward the woods. Fast. Faster than Emma had ever seen him move. Ginger, come back, she called. But the kitten didn't stop. He disappeared into the tall grass at the edge of the woods. Mom, Ginger ran into the woods, Emma said frantically. Her mother's eyes widened. We have to get him back. It's not safe. They hurried to the tree line. Emma called Ginger's name. Nothing. Then, faintly, she heard meowing. Not regular meowing. Urgent, repeated sounds. He's calling us, Emma realized. They followed the sound deeper into the woods. Emma's mom kept her hand firmly on her daughter's shoulder. The meowing got louder. They found Ginger sitting by a fallen log. He was looking down into a small ravine. His tail was puffed up with excitement. What is it, boy? Emma whispered. Then she heard it. A tiny, scared voice. Help, Mama! Miguel. He was down in the ravine, maybe 6 feet deep. Not hurt, but trapped. The sides were too steep for a 3-year-old to climb. Miguel! Emma's mom shouted. We found him! The little boy looked up with tear-stained cheeks. When he saw them, he started crying with relief. Emma's mom immediately called for help on her phone. Within minutes, the woods filled with people. Paramedics. Police. Miguel's family. But getting Miguel out wasn't easy. The ravine was narrow and deep. Adult rescuers couldn't fit down safely. Their equipment was too big. We need to send down a rope, one officer said. But he's too young to hold on properly. Emma watched the rescue attempts. Nothing was working. Miguel was getting more scared as darkness fell. Then she had an idea. A crazy idea. What if Ginger helped? She said quietly. The adults looked at her with confusion. Cats can fit in small spaces, Emma explained. And Ginger is really good at balancing. Maybe he could carry something down to Miguel. Honey, that's very sweet, but... The police officer started. Wait, said Mrs. Rodriguez. She had been watching Ginger throughout the rescue. This cat found Miguel when we couldn't. Maybe the little girl is right. Emma knelt by Ginger. Can you help Miguel, boy? He's scared like you were when I found you. Ginger meowed softly. He looked down at Miguel, then back at Emma. Almost like he understood. One of the paramedics had a small harness used for rescue dogs. If we make this smaller, maybe the cat could wear it. We could attach a very light rope. It's worth trying. Miguel's father said desperately. Nothing else is working. They quickly modified the tiny harness. Ginger let them put it on without struggling. A thin but strong rope was attached. Okay, Ginger, Emma whispered. Show them how special you are. What happened next amazed everyone. Ginger hopped to the edge of the ravine. He looked down, calculating the distance. Then he began his descent. His three-legged movement was perfect for the steep, narrow space. He could brace with his front paws while pushing with his single back paw. More stable than a regular cat would be. Step by step, hop by hop, Ginger made his way down to Miguel. The little boy stopped crying when he saw the orange kitten. Kitty, he said, reaching out his hands. Ginger rubbed against Miguel, purring loudly. The sound calmed the frightened child. Now comes the hard part, the paramedic said. We need to get them both up. But Ginger had another idea. He positioned himself next to Miguel, started climbing back up the slope. The rope pulled gently on Miguel's shirt, showing him the way. Follow the kitty, Miguel, his grandmother called. Climb like the kitty. Miguel understood. He grabbed onto roots and rocks, following Ginger's path. The kitten stopped whenever the boy needed rest, encouraged him with soft meows. It took 20 minutes. 20 minutes of the most careful climbing Emma had ever seen. But finally, two small heads appeared at the top of the ravine. Miguel was safe. Dirty and tired, but safe. The crowd erupted in cheers. Miguel's family swept him into their arms. Everyone was crying with relief. The cat saved him, one police officer said in amazement. I've never seen anything like it. Emma picked up Ginger. He was exhausted but purring proudly. You did it, boy. You're a hero. The local news arrived within an hour. They wanted to interview Emma and film Ginger. The three-legged hero cat became the headline. But the best moment came when Miguel toddled over to Emma. He was holding a juice box and cookies his grandmother had given him. For Kitty, he said simply, offering the treats. Ginger ate the cookies gently from Miguel's tiny hands. The little boy giggled and pet the cat's soft fur. He's not broken, Miguel announced to everyone. He's strong. Emma felt her heart overflow. Out of the mouths of babes. As the excitement died down and families went home, Emma sat with Ginger under the stars. Her mom beside them, still shaking her head in wonder. How did you know he could do that? Her mom asked. Emma thought about it. I guess I always knew he was special. I just had to give him a chance to show everyone else. Ginger stretched and yawned. It had been a very big day for a very small cat. The whole neighborhood is going to want to adopt cats now. Her mom laughed. Good, Emma said firmly. Everyone deserves a friend like Ginger. As they went inside, Emma noticed something beautiful. All the neighborhood cats had returned. They were sitting in a circle around their house, like they were paying tribute to the hero cat. Morris sat closest to the porch. He meowed once, loud and clear. It sounded like, "Thank you." Emma smiled. Tomorrow would bring reporters and more visitors. But tonight, it was just her and Ginger. The special cat who had shown everyone that being different wasn't a limitation. It was a superpower. Sweet dreams, my hero, she whispered. Ginger purred one last time before falling asleep. And if cats could smile, Emma was sure he was smiling too. 2 weeks after the rescue, Emma's life had completely changed. But in the most wonderful way possible. Every morning brought new visitors to their house. Children from other neighborhoods. Adults with cameras. Even a lady from the animal shelter who wanted to learn about special needs pets. Ginger had become famous far beyond their small street in Orlando. Emma, Channel 7 wants to do another interview. Her mom called from the kitchen. But Emma was busy. She sat in the backyard with 6 other children. Each had brought their own, different, pet. Lucy had brought her turtle with the cracked shell. Marcus brought his bird with one wing. Sarah brought her dog who was blind in one eye. "Okay everyone, let's practice the obstacle course," Emma announced. She had built an amazing playground in her backyard. Ramps for animals who couldn't jump. Soft tunnels for those who moved slowly. Textured paths for those who couldn't see well. The local hardware store had donated materials. "For the famous cat trainer," Mr. Williams had said with a smile. Ginger hopped onto the first platform. The other animals followed, each using their own special technique. Lucy's turtle took his time but never gave up. Marcus's bird flew with one wing and walked with strong legs. "See?" Emma said to the group. "Everyone has their own superpower." The children clapped as each animal completed the course. Not competing against each other. Just celebrating what they could do. Mrs. Johnson appeared at the fence. The same neighbor who had called Ginger crippled 2 weeks ago. "Emma, dear?" she called softly. Emma looked up, surprised. Mrs. Johnson rarely spoke to children. "I wanted to apologize," the older woman said. "I was wrong about your cat. About being different." She paused, looking embarrassed. "My granddaughter has autism. She struggles to make friends. But yesterday she told me about a 3-legged cat who taught her that different can be beautiful." Emma's eyes widened. "Would she like to meet Ginger?" Mrs. Johnson nodded, tears in her eyes. "She would love that." An hour later, a shy 8-year-old girl named Sophie sat quietly with Ginger in her lap. She hadn't spoken yet, but she was smiling. Ginger purred contentedly, sensing her need for gentle comfort. "He understands me," Sophie whispered to Emma. "He understands everyone," Emma replied. That afternoon brought an unexpected visitor. Dr. Martinez from the University of Florida Animal Behavior Department. "I've been following Ginger's story," she explained to Emma's mom. "His rescue technique was remarkable. I'd like to study how animals with physical differences develop enhanced problem-solving skills." Emma listened carefully. She didn't understand all the big words, but she got the important part. "You mean Ginger could help other animals?" she asked. "Absolutely. And children too. We're starting a program called Different Heroes. Teaching kids that disabilities can become abilities." Emma's heart raced with excitement. "Can I help?" Dr. Martinez smiled. "We were hoping you'd ask. You seem to be a natural animal communicator." That evening, Emma sat with her mom on the porch swing. Ginger dozed between them, tired from his busy day of meeting new friends. "Are you happy about all these changes?" her mom asked. Emma thought carefully. 2 weeks ago, her biggest worry was whether the neighbor kids would like Ginger. Now she was going to help train other animals and teach other children. "It's scary but good scary," Emma decided. "Like when Ginger went down to save Miguel." Her mom hugged her close. "I'm so proud of how you've handled all this attention." "I just did what felt right," Emma said. "Ginger was the brave one." As if he heard his name, Ginger opened one green eye. He stretched, yawned, and repositioned himself more comfortably. A familiar meow came from the fence. Morris jumped down and padded over to the porch. The big orange tabby no longer looked threatening. He looked friendly. "Hey Morris," Emma called softly. Morris approached cautiously. He touched noses with Ginger. Then, to everyone's amazement, he rubbed against Emma's leg. "I think you've got another friend." Her mom laughed. Soon other cats appeared. The gray tabby from 3 houses down. The black cat who lived behind the grocery store. Even the scared calico who usually hid from humans. They formed a semicircle around the porch. Like they were holding court with the famous rescue cat. "Look," Emma whispered. "They're all here." But the most special moment came when Miguel's family walked over. The little boy was holding his grandmother's hand, but when he saw Ginger, he broke free and ran. "Kitty!" he shouted joyfully. Ginger hopped down from the porch to greet him. Miguel sat on the ground and let Ginger climb into his lap. "Mama says you saved me," Miguel said seriously. He pulled out a small, hand-drawn picture. It showed a stick-figure boy and an orange cat with 3 legs. At the top, in crayon letters, it said, "My hero." Emma felt tears in her eyes. Happy tears. "He wants to give this to Ginger," Miguel's grandmother translated. "He's been working on it all week." Emma helped Miguel show the picture to Ginger. The cat sniffed it politely, then purred loudly. Miguel giggled and hugged him gently. "I think he likes it," Emma said. As the sun set, the impromptu gathering slowly dispersed. Families went home for dinner. Cats returned to their territories. But something had changed in the neighborhood. People smiled more. Children played together differently. The word different no longer sounded like a bad thing. Emma picked up Ginger for their bedtime routine. She noticed he felt heavier, stronger. All the attention and exercise had been good for him. "You know what I learned?" she told him as they went inside. Ginger meowed softly, as if asking, "What?" "I learned that everyone is special in their own way. Some people just hide their special better than others." She thought about Sophie with autism who understood animals. About Marcus who trained his one-winged bird to do amazing tricks. About Miguel who was braver than most adults. "And I learned that sometimes the thing that makes you different is exactly what the world needs." Ginger purred his agreement. He curled up on his favorite blanket by Emma's bed. Emma's mom came in to say goodnight. The animal shelter called. They want to name their new program after Ginger. The Ginger Project, finding homes for special needs animals. Emma smiled sleepily. He'd like that. As her mom turned off the light, Emma looked out at the stars. Tomorrow would bring new adventures. New animals to help. New children to teach. But tonight she was just a 5-year-old girl with her best friend. A friend who had taught her that being different wasn't something to fix or hide. It was something to celebrate. "Sweet dreams, Ginger," she whispered. The kitten's purr filled the quiet room. Outside, a gentle breeze rustled the leaves. In the distance, Morris meowed goodnight from his fence post. Emma closed her eyes, already dreaming of tomorrow's possibilities. In her dreams, the world was full of 3-legged cats and children who understood that different meant wonderful. And somewhere in his own cat dreams, Ginger was running. Running fast and free on all the legs that mattered, the ones in his heart. The moon shone down on the quiet neighborhood where a little girl and a special cat had taught everyone that heroes come in all shapes and sizes. Sometimes they come with missing parts that make them more complete than anyone could imagine. This was just the beginning of their story. But it was already the most beautiful beginning any friendship could have.